Hey, beautiful Scorpio. Welcome to your reading for December 2025. I am Teresa, Doctor of Metaphysics and Mystic, here to illuminate your path. We're going to do a soul path reading, Scorpio, to see where you're going this month and see what supports you, what challenges you. We'll get advice from Spirit, and then we'll pull some oracle cards as well. God, Spirit, Universe, please bring truth, clarity, and wisdom to this reading for the Scorpio family and help Scorpio navigate to their highest and most blessed timeline. Thank you, Spirit. Wow, Scorpio. All right. The cards are really speaking to you. Okay, they're really speaking to you. It's like I have to control the cards. So there's powerful messages here. If I recall correctly, beautiful Scorpio, your last reading had a tower, at least one tower. It felt like there was like a really powerful and upsetting clearing the road for your way. Something was really in the way. Okay. So let's see what Spirit says about all that. At the bottom of the decks, you have Two of Pentacles, which could be just a lot of work, a lot of juggling, new priorities being added, you being so much more effective at what you do that you're now able to take up more tasks and responsibilities, multitasking and all that stuff. Could be because it's the holidays as well. You know, for a lot of you, you could be busy because of the holidays. And you have the Fool. The Fool is like a bright, shiny new beginning. There is a lot of new energy here, Scorpio. So I'm not surprised because, you know, things were cleared. So it felt like a great big wheel or world card. If you didn't have the wheel or world card, you probably did. But that like wiped the slate clean in so many ways. And so you had to like step onto a new path. No, you didn't have to. You got to, you know. So the Fool, though, is very excited, like super excited about what's coming, super excited about what you have going on, you know, and trusting Spirit. This is very optimistic energy, like really trusting Spirit about the direction you're going in now, because it feels like you can't do wrong. Like, you know, you can't do wrong in some way, you know, with the Fool card. And the Fool is always the wisest one, right? In the court, the Fool is always the wisest in the King's court. People think that the Fool is the Fool, but the Fool is actually the one that sees and understands, you know, and is very playful and very lighthearted, because I think it's because truly this is not me, the Fool knows that nothing really matters. And I just get that feeling like nothing really matters, like you can't go wrong. Okay. So your path, this is interesting, Scorpio, and this could be people. You could have a lot of people in your life right now, or a lot of people coming into your life. You know, I don't necessarily read these as different people outside of you. You know, so I'm going to read them both ways, because in general, I would see these as aspects of you. But because you have so many court cards, I have to think there's something to this, okay? You have the King of Cups, the Princess of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles. So the King of Cups is a person who is dreamy, who is, you know, reminds me of somebody with Asperger's or ADD, especially ADD. Yeah, not ADHD, no, ADD. Like, you know, their head is stuffed with fluff, like Winnie the Pooh would say, right? But also very deep energy, deep emotional energy, so deep. This could be like soul retrieval, deep, you know. The King of Cups is your subconscious. This is your past life feelings, repressed feelings, or repressed memories too. It's dreaming prophetic dreams and getting answers in your dreams. So there's so much to the King of Cups, right? But really in the King of Cups also, you get lost. There's a feeling of getting lost. It's 12th house, dissolving into nothingness, right? So this is either you getting real deep about things, and we have clarifiers for all of these, or this is someone in your life coming in that is like, you know, could be like wishy-washy too. A man who's really wishy-washy or whose head is stuffed with fluff. Not the kings are usually men, okay? Then the Princess of Cups. This is you. This is like hopeful for the future and heart wide open. You like that Fool energy, real excited about what it is that you are pursuing now. Love, new love for a lot of you, new love. But also it could be, if this is a person, a young person, a daughter, a vulnerable person, someone who's very emotional. Emotional and who's like, emotions could be running over in some way as well. Like their cup runs over, like too emotional, overly emotional, but also overly hopeful for the future and really engaged in love in some way too. Okay. And then you have the Knight of Pentacles. If this is you creating your forest. This is planting seeds, knowing those seeds are going to take a long time. So, starting a new venture that is going to take a while to grow, and just trusting that you plant the seeds, Spirit will water them and bring sun to them, and that they will create fruit, and not expecting it to happen overnight. Yeah. Or if you are expecting it to happen overnight, I am here to tell you it will not happen overnight. It's a slow, slow, slow energy, the Knight of Pentacles, but it's one that lasts. It creates a legacy. It creates a forest that you can leave for others. The other knights don't do that, right? The other knights are fast, and this one is slow. The other knights are temporary energy, and this one is permanent. Okay. Now, if this is a person, this is like an earth sign, someone deeply grounded, not in any kind of a hurry. And, maybe a little bit stubborn, a little too grounded, really, and maybe not with a lot of resources, but with an eye to resources, an eye to growing a business perhaps, or always looking for, how to make a buck, or to, add to the pool. Now, clarifying the King of Cups, you have Seven of Swords. Now, I'm reading this specific way, beautiful Scorpio, because there's something that tells me for some of you, this is other people. Okay. So I'm going to read it both ways. If the King of Cups is you, this is subconscious workings with the Seven of Swords, imposter syndrome, overcoming imposter syndrome and learning that you are loving and lovable. The universe wants you to be happy. You are worthy. Okay. But if it's another, there's also an energy of liar, cheater, stealer. Okay, just be forewarned on that. Ultimately, it's not necessarily liar, cheater, stealer, but there is a sense of deception with the King of Cups. There is some type of deception with the King of Cups, if this is another person. I'm going to get advice cards. Well, I have your advice cards here, but it doesn't feel toxic. It doesn't feel dangerous. Yeah. If this is another person, you know who I'm talking about and you know what I'm talking about, it just feels like, if this is another person, this month is all about navigating relationships, maybe not all about, there's other things going on. But with the Seven of Swords, if this is you, and it could be both, right? This could be another person and it could be you. The Seven of Swords there is a message that there is a mental challenge, because the swords are your mental body, or your throat chakra. This could be communication or information. And sevens are the need to focus and to stay centered and to stay grounded in your intentions and not to get veered off course, and to exercise your will and your and to really focus your time, energy, and resources on what it is that you want, not on what it is that you don't want. Okay. So like, for instance, this could be really needing to study to pass an exam, that mental challenge, and not let anything else in your space that's going to distract you from studying, that kind of thing, So just take it as it resonates, beautiful Scorpio. Now, clarifying the Princess of Cups is the Queen of Discs. She is the creatrix of this world. She is the maker. She is the creator of manifest densified reality, of the earth element. So This is you being very, very creative out of what it is that you really love. Princess of Cups, her heart is open, and Queen of Discs. Because of that, you are manifesting things, you know. Now, if this is a young person in your life, she is manifesting things, you know. There is a strong energy of maturity with the Queen of Discs. She's crying tears of diamonds. And those diamonds only happen over a long period of time and a lot of pressure. So this is diamonds that you've earned. And it feels like following your heart will earn you treasure. You know, that it feels like that to me. Okay. Or a young person following their heart will give them time and pressure in order to manifest their treasure. Okay. And then the Knight of Pentacles is clarified by the High Priestess. Knight of Pentacles is, you know, slow and steady wins the race, and creating your world from the ground up. And the High Priestess is, and you know what? The Knight of Pentacles is also very intuitive. It's very Taurian, Taurus, like super like bull, you know, Taurus, even Capricornian, Virgoan as well. Obviously it's earth sign, but mostly Taurus, right? Very intuitive. And the High Priestess is extremely intuitive, and she knows things. You can see how intuitive he is. His crown chakra is wide open, right? So this is like you really getting clarity on things, you really understanding things. And the High Priestess is extremely passive. She's not really active. She's not doing things. She's receiving things. And the Knight of Pentacles isn't doing a lot either. You know, some would say the Knight of Pentacles is lazy, right? But in spite of that, receiving things, because somehow the Knight of Pentacles understands how that part of the universe works, where you can just like make an intention and put your energy, like your passive energy, in that flow, and it will unfold for you, you know? So that seems to be happening for you, beautiful Scorpio. I like that. You know, there is an energy with the High Priestess too of that passive divine feminine, of just keeping your arms open and waiting for gifts to fall into your arms. And it feels like that, you know, like the Knight of Pentacles is all about manifesting, and the High Priestess receives. It just feels like you're receiving the fruits of your labors. You know, the Queen of Discs has done her job, time and pressure, and now you are receiving. Okay. Now what supports you on this path, beautiful Scorpio, is Temperance and Magician. Again, you've done your work. You've done it for a long time. And the Magician, this is your potent ability to wield energy, like where focus goes, energy flows, you know. So really good at focusing and creating magic, creating the outcome that you want, you know. The Temperance card, like I said, it's taken a long time because she's tempering steel, or she's tempering glass. And what you do is you heat something up till it's red hot, and then you douse it in fire. So you're working with fire and water. So it feels with the Temperance that you're going one step forward, two steps back, or two steps forward, one step back. It can feel like a slog. And with the Knight of Pentacles, I see that for a lot of you, it can feel like this isn't happening fast enough for me, or is this going to happen for me? Because it's not unfolding right now, you know. But trust that, yes, it is happening. In fact, it's working for you. The slowness is working for you. It's part of the magic with the Magician. That's creating strong glass or strong steel that's not going to break in the first, you know, the first use. So while the Knight of Pentacles is taking a long time, it's growing a force that's going to be there forever. It's leaving a legacy. And while Temperance is taking a long time, it's not going to break right away. So this is working for you. So if you are feeling impatient, just know it's supposed to be this way. Temperance is clarified by King of Swords. This is the master of your mind, clarity and wisdom, being an authority as well. going slow and taking a long time to make this happen has made you an authority in some way. And now you are the master, not just of this thing, but of your mind. This is really great. You have King of Cups, King of Swords, King of Wands. You have 3 kings in your reading. So, oh, and you have the Emperor. So like this is like boss energy. You're like the boss, bossing up in some way, taking control of your life in some way, taking control of the process, you know, mastering it. I want to say mastering it, not just taking control, but mastering things. Now, magician is clarified with the Hermit. So your wisdom, you're so wise, and that's what's making you a good manifester. That's what's making you a good creator. You're really focusing on creating something. I've definitely seen this in your readings lately, like you're on a path to create something. And with the Hermit, like for a lot of you, you're doing this on your own, like, you know, as in your own business, as a side hustle, that kind of thing. You know, the Hermit is alone, you know, so you're doing your magic on your own, whatever it is that you're working on. It's not just that you're alone, it's that it's lonely at the top of the mountain, because not everybody makes it to the top of the mountain, right? But you've been climbing for a while, you know. That's why that energy of 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or whatever, 2 steps, is because it's growing you, and it's strengthening you, and it's wisening you up, you know, like you're so good at what you do now, like you can teach it, you know. You can teach it. Shine your hermit's light for other people to see. And that could be part of your magic. That could be what part of what you're creating is teaching other people. Because King of Swords and Hermit is an authority of something, and teaching it to other people or shining your light so that other people can find their way. Okay. Spiritual teaching, you know, something like that. And this King of Swords, it's dark in here, and so hopefully you can see that. Hopefully you can see that. All around his feathers going into his crown chakra are words. This is a lot of information. He's processed a lot of information, and now he is a prolific content creator. You know, so for a lot of you, that's what's happening. Now, what challenges you is Prince of Swords, King of Wands. This is a lot of court cards, okay? This could be people challenging you, people standing in your way, you know? The Prince of Swords is belligerent, fiery, wants to pick a fight. And so does the King of Wands. King of Wands is a bully, you know? But also passionate, powerful, the boss. There could be the bosses in the way, you know? Prince of Swords is like young too, like this could be a young person, you know, a new person, you know, who thinks they know everything, but they have a lot to learn. Okay. Now, if these energies are you, right, then it's what's in your way is you have something to learn. You have something to understand yet. You have to open your mind to something more now. You have to pick up another area of study even. Right? And the King of Wands, you want to go faster. You know, you want to go faster. The Wands are very, very passionate. And they want things to be here now type of thing, right? And with the Knight of Pentacles and Temperance, that's not happening. So that could be what challenges you. So just get comfortable in the energy of process. Enjoy the journey, like they always tell me. Beautiful Scorpio. All right, so 4 of Swords is clarifying the King of Wands. 4 of Swords is connecting to your gods, guides, and guards, taking time to get perspective, time in silence too. But you can see here, the 4 of Swords, there are like 2 tall smokestacks down here. And what that reminds me of is the towers, the twin towers. That's what that tells me, the twin towers. So what is the message there, you ask? Right? It's after the towers fell, the whole world changed. You know, we saw things differently. You know, we understood things differently. We changed our minds about a lot of things. So it feels like the King of Wands, that passionate, fiery, want things now, or the boss, you know, Feels like you have some thinking to do. You have to get your head on straight. You have to get a perspective. That's all I'm going to say about it. That's all I have for that. And then the Prince of Swords clarified with your card, beautiful Scorpio, the Death card. So the Prince of Swords, this could be a new person, like I said, with a lot to learn. And something's going to end and transform. The Four of Swords with the Death card, there's a transformation here, major transformation here. That could have to do with how you see things or how you think about things. And that could be challenging. You could be processing some things, processing some information. But also, if you have a lot to learn, this is just seriously with the Death card for beautiful Scorpio and the Prince of Swords. This is understanding who you are, becoming more authentic, who you are, speaking your truth more, seeing yourself more clearly, or seeing yourself as other people see you, I want to say, with the perspective card here. Okay. So that could be challenging to you. This is like an obstacle or a tripping point, a challenge that once you overcome this will help you to gain momentum and clear your path even more. Now, the advice that you have from Spirit is Two of Swords and the Emperor. So Two of Swords is a pair of scissors. You cut something out with the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is like an uneasy truce. Two things in your life don't get along, and you're holding them off right now. You're like, I'll deal with this later, Right now, I think I can make this work. Well, you can't do it anymore. Or pretty soon you can't do it anymore. In your advice position, it feels like Spirit is saying, cut out the detrimental thing, So an example would be that you have a friend that just wants to party all the time and your family doesn't like you hanging out with them, and you're like, you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, you think you can make it work right now, Spirit is saying, what? In your advice row, it's like saying, make your life better, make your life easier, do what you know is right now, Emperor is take control of your life, create boundaries, So it could also be, there are so many ways that an uneasy truce can play out, but, it could be like having a long commute, but you want to spend more time with your family. So quitting your job to be with your, to find a job closer to home, or moving closer to work, that kind of thing, like help Spirit help you. And with the Emperor, boss up, become your own boss in some way, step up into the boss role. For a lot of you, make the choice to be the boss. Two of Swords is make a choice. The Emperor is be a boss, but it's also create boundaries, like set up structure in your life so that you don't have a lot of ways that things can come in and mess with the process. So create a schedule, a meal plan, a budget, whatever it is that you're working on, create a structure to get control of that thing, right? This is the time to do that. And then clarifying the Emperor is the Chariot. The Chariot is, interestingly, taking control of yourself. So that's what I'm feeling. Take control of yourself in some way, It feels like there's not a lot of work to do here. It feels like, you're doing, like a lot of what's happening is internal or social, So whatever it is and however it resonates with you, beautiful Scorpio, control yourself and do willpower and self-control in whatever way is going to be beneficial for you. Okay. And then clarifying Two of Swords is Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is super passionate, but it's also super messy. Okay. So the Nine of Wands is also a lot. It's like a heavy load. There's a heavy load here, So the Two of Swords could be like saying, cut out what's weighing you down, what's causing unnecessary work for you, what's causing extra work for you that you know, like I'm getting this superfluous things in your life that are getting in the way. Simplify, 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 simplify. Thoreau, I think, said simplify, simplify, simplify. And his friend, why can't I think of his name? Ralph Waldo Emerson said one simplify would have sufficed, right? So that's what I'm feeling for you, beautiful Scorpio. Spirit wants you to simplify. Get control of your life, control yourself, and simplify. All right, so what else do we have for Scorpio for December? Thank you, Spirit. 2 more. Thank you. All right, you have elves, playfulness, and stag spirit, leadership. So again, that boss up energy, right? That hermit energy with the King of Swords. You are an authority, show the way. Stag, if you see a white stag in the woods, you follow it because it leads you to your destiny. And I'm getting this for a lot of the signs, the white stag. So that's interesting. And then badger spirit, be fearless and bold. So be bold, and koala spirit. Spirit has a plan. Trust that there's a plan behind all of this. Okay, beautiful Scorpio? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being you. And I'll see you next time. Peace.